Mute yourself.
Yep, I am muted. Mute desktop audio too. Why in Discord? Oh, you should have a separate media file for that. How are we gonna talk before stream then? What do you mean? Yes, I am. What is up, guys? Welcome to episode 2 of Typecast, where we talk about stuff related to keyboards and whatever else we decide to talk about. Today, we want to cover what's the deal with GMK's. Thank you for the follow, but that is obnoxious. I'll lower that for sure. Sorry about that. So yeah, we want to cover.
Yeah, I had the volume up on my stream and it was creating an echo.
Okay, finally, I think everything's good. Okay, yeah, we want to cover the warped keycaps with GMK. And what's the deal? I think we have
one person is too loud, so okay. Dude, your mic is so loud. Okay. Oh.
Wait, there we go. I think we fixed it. It was like not my actual mic. What up, Kim? What up, Future? What up, Cobert? Okay, is that better?
Can you guys hear him talk? Give me a sound check.
Fixed? Okay, dude, I had the wrong, I think I had the camera mic on. That was the issue.
Yeah, so I think we have is everything good now?
I think everything's good. What up, Drayla? Thank you. So let me go get the keyboard. I totally forgot.
All good to go. Solid. Okay. Yeah, so I think we got an interesting perspective on the warp keycaps. At least Lube does, and I don't know if you guys heard, but Corsair acquired Drop and Geek Hack along with it. So we want to talk about the ramifications of bigger companies kind of acquiring smaller companies within the niche, or if you want to consider Drop small, but just kind of where does that lead us in terms of these large companies kind of getting involved in the hobby? Interestingly enough.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I was reading the chat. Kim said she can't watch both of us because double audio.
Yeah, you don't have to watch both of us. It's all good. Just a follow I appreciate, just in case, either of us decide to stream, not during Typecast. It's just kind of cool to be able to engage with you guys when we have free time outside of the episodes on Sundays. I'm sorry if you guys are getting blasted in the ears by this follower music. I don't know why it's so loud. I'll try to figure it out while Luke is talking. But yeah, interestingly enough, I was actually having a conversation with someone on Reddit, and somebody actually asked, how do you feel about a big company purchasing something like QK, right? Like if they purchased the QK60. And I think that's a good discussion. Because I think there's pros and cons to it, but I think it's mostly cons. But I think we should start with the GMK stuff. And Lube, I don't know if you want to relate what you were telling me about that stuff, because you had some inside reference to it.
I was talking to Keeb Matt yesterday about it. First of all, you can see on my hander bait, the alt is actually slightly crooked. So I'm a victim, you could say, to this. It's not enough to bother me. I don't really have OCD. But my alt is definitely ever so slightly crooked on this set. But my set, Perestroika, or however you pronounce it, it's definitely not crooked here. It's straight as could be. Needs to fix their shit. Redo spacebar, F&J mods mold. Yeah. So I was talking to Keyman. He gave me some really, really good insight on basically just because you throw a manufacturer's name on a product doesn't mean it's the manufacturer's fault, right? I could throw let's say, our keyboard manufacturer on a product, but that's not the manufacturer to blame. It's more of the vendor, because the vendor is ultimately responsible for delivering a quality product, right? The manufacturer's just doing what it's told. If the vendor never gives the manufacturer any guidelines to abide by, then that it's not really the manufacturer's fault. Anytime we deal with manufacturing with a thank you, Kobe, for the follow. Anytime we deal with a manufacturing of a keyboard, we set guidelines, quality control guidelines, to ensure that the customer gets a quality product. But that doesn't mean it's and if we never give those guidelines, that doesn't make it the manufacturer's fault that we delivered a bad product.
I mean,
and what do you think about that?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I completely agree with that, right? Like, so you're expecting something as a vendor, like if you're going to be reselling GMK caps, let's say, right? You're expecting it to be a certain level of quality, unless there's something within, like, stipulated from the agreement or from your purchase that says, hey, there may be a certain level of B stock, right? Like, there may be some caps that are not perfect. It's your responsibility to look through them and make sure that you don't have this issue, right? Um, but if that's not the case,
Hey, one second. One
and
second. Hey, I'm streaming right now.
I would assume if that's not the case, like, so how? So I
Okay,
guess my
sorry,
question would
you
be,
continue.
I guess my question would be, how do they come from GMK the factory? Do they come wrapped? Because I'm also thinking, like, how are you supposed to open these and check? Do
Yeah.
they come sealed?
It's all sealed, right?
So then how
They
could
don't
it
come
be
sealed from GMK.
they don't? Is that what you're saying? They don't, or they do?
Cobert says if they don't come sealed from GMK, I would say that the QC lies with them. Okay, that is true.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was headed. Yeah, he's right on point there. If they don't come sealed, then yeah, okay, I could see, like, having to check. But if they're coming sealed from the factory, what are you supposed to do as a reseller? And even still, if there's nothing stipulated about a B stock, let's say you get on with GMK, which from my understanding is pretty difficult to become a reseller for them. Let's say you get on with them. I would imagine that they would have some type of terms and conditions as a reseller, right?
Yeah. So
But
keep going.
just one sec. Like, yeah, just to kind of finish my point. GMK as a company, they have a brand and a name and a reputation to uphold, right? So I would imagine that they handle this stuff professionally, and they had to have said something to the vendor, like, hey, this is something you have to look at, right? But I think I would need more context. Like, if that stuff's coming in wrapped and it's sealed, I just don't see where the vendor fits in to kind of QC that,
The OP didn't try to contract. Kim says the OP didn't try to contact GMK, so they don't know what. Okay, so they don't even know it's a problem. But
Yeah, because the first thing you see is, like, people attack GMK, like, right away, right? Like, I just don't know if that's fair, essentially.
yeah, I think it needs to be figured out with the vendor and GMK. But I mean, just because we, let's say we're getting a keyboard a keyboard manufacturer from X, right? If we just slap on X's name onto a box, and we never outline, quality concerns or anything in a contract, then and they just deliver us like a whole bunch of C stock items, then is it really the manufacturer's fault? I think that's what Keeb Matt was saying when I was speaking with him.
Right, but do you get what I'm saying too? Like, in reference to, so they have to kind of know, GMK, like, yo, we're gonna get blamed for this if it's not right.
Yeah.
Right, like, you know what I'm saying? So I just would love to be a fly on the wall, like, in that meeting, or when you're engaging in that relationship, or you're starting that relationship with GMK. Like, what does that look like? What do those terms and conditions look like? Are they warning you about this? And if so, I mean, if I was GMK, I would just tread lightly, because that any issue that occurs, especially nowadays with these vendors being, like, so up in the air, like, who the hell's even going to be in business in the next 30 days, right?
Yeah.
Like, I would be doing everything I possibly can to make sure that my reputation stays my reputation. But at the same time, yeah, perhaps the vendor can be blamed, but as GMK, they have a reputation to uphold as well. So I would.
Correct.
I mean, I don't know if you can blame them, but at the same time, I think if I was them, I probably would have been a lot more careful, essentially.
Thank you, Coffee and Keeps, for the follow. I've had Kim says she's had double shrink wrapped GMK. Wow, that is interesting.
Like,
what's
potato,
the word?
like potato trays were shrink wrapped, and then box were shrink wrapped. So they were, like,
we all kind of like GMK's quality for the most part, Juice Fam, but they've been running into some issues regarding the quality of their keycaps, and we're just.
Wait, hold on. To address what Kim was saying, though, like, that's my question, like, right, like. I don't think the vendors are wrapping this stuff. Like, do you?
Definitely not. Cobert said earlier in the chat,
like,
because there's no way in hell that there's shrink wrapping each GMK set. That's just not feasible.
Yeah. So while I hear what Keeb Matt's saying, it may actually fall on GMK. isn't GMK
Yeah,
improving their production lines?
GMK is improving their production. Well, it's also dependent on the vendor and how color matching goes, but for the most part, I do believe that they are improving their production lines, their efficiency. Because I also know they have like new sorting machines and stuff to place the keycaps in the trays. They posted a video of that on their Instagram. But
Yeah,
I mean, it's just something to be learned, right? Whenever you're doing a product with a manufacturer, doesn't matter the reputation, there needs to be a contract with, like quality control clauses in there. So in case something like this does happen and they're delivering a subpar product, that GMK is ultimately responsible for fixing this issue, right? And it doesn't lie on the vendor. That's something that needs to be learned for all future projects, not even keycaps.
I think margins play a part too, right? Like if the
Yeah.
margins aren't huge on GMK caps, then how much are you expecting from the vendor as well too? Like just to put a little onus on GMK, right? Like how much are you expecting from the vendor if there aren't huge margins? First of all, second of all, as a consumer, now look, we all know that people can jump the gun a bit, but let's be real. GMK is charging a lot of money for this stuff. And if you're saving up to get a GMK kit instead of getting a PBT kit, right? And you're spending $150, $180, you're expecting that product to be near perfect. Especially in terms of living up to the hype or living up to the reputation. That I don't know. It's just pretty unacceptable on either front, in my opinion. I don't know. The margins are not as small as you think they are. Then who's setting the prices? That's interesting. Then if the margins aren't small and people are making huge money on these, then yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Then the vendors have to look at that. Then if you're making a majority of the money, then the price to consumer, if the price to consumer is high, but it's not the manufacturer's fault that it's so high, that it's the vendors that are setting the price because people are willing to pay it, then it's just like anything else that's being resold, right? Like if you purchase something, right, like a Picasso, and you like resell it for millions of dollars, like you're expected to keep that in pristine condition, right? You're expected to actually deliver an authentic product and deliver on what the person is expecting. So if it is the vendors that are making these margins, then yeah, I would say some of it's going to have to fall on them as well.
I'm gonna read what AK says. He says, "I think as a vendor, you have as much of a right as the consumer to expect a solid product to be delivered. Now, if you know as a vendor that the product is flawed, you send it out. That's an issue. But if you pay menu for a product and they send you a flawed item, that is on them." Yeah, it just depends, because GMK, I think if there's no contract here, GMK just be like, oh, it's within our tolerances, or it's within our acceptable margins, right? Because my ult is not that crooked. They could just come in and say, oh, we're not responsible because this is within our spec. But it's up to
but
any manufacturer can say that. It's just within our spec.
Right, but the problem is, and we kind of covered this a little earlier, AK, but the problem is, though, if you know that you're going to have a certain amount of caps that are not perfect, then there has to be something in place where it's not going direct to consumer. Like if you're wrapping those caps and you're sealing those caps and it's like, oh, well, it's within the 5% margin of B stock. Well, no, what are you talking about? Like the consumer isn't aware of this. Like, the vendor may be aware, but the consumer isn't aware. So that there's obviously something's getting lost in transition or translation here from GMK to the consumer. And wherever that process lies, whether it's with the QC department at GMK's factory itself or the vendor doing the QC, something needs to be done, because I would imagine if this is a trend, or this is going to start happening more and more, it's going to affect not only the price, but it's going to affect the reputation of GMK, which at the end of the day does fall on them as the producer of the cap,
Epsilon says GMK is top tier. You happy with a substandard Ferrari? It's just like,
agree.
I mean, no one's gonna be happy with a subpar Ferrari, but it's just like, who does the fault lie on? Does it lie on the company delivering a prepackaged product, or does it lie on does it lie on the manufacturer? And I think if that, like the manufacturer, like of course the right thing for GMK to do is to fix all of them, right? But by no means, like if there's no contract, by no means do they have to, right?
Yeah, but I think the moral of the story is that like the consumer is in the dark, like regardless, right? So now
Yeah.
is the consumer is supposed to expect that, hey, I may not get a perfect keycap set. Oh well. No, it's like he's saying, like, if you're buying a Ferrari, you don't want it coming with a Honda engine, right? And bumper stickers. You want that coming you want that coming crisp.
Yeah.
You want what you ordered, right? So regardless, like, the consumer needs to be aware. And if this is going to be a trend, and if this is going to be an issue with GMK caps going forward, then the consumer should know, and they should be able to make an informed decision with $150 for plastic squares.
I love that
for their-
plastic
they-
squares
they-
reference.
well, they should be aware, right? Like, if you're going to buy, especially getting into a group buy where you're going to be waiting, God only knows how long for this product to come in. And then after you wait months banking on, well, it's GMK, they're the best, right? And then you get it and it's got warped space bars, it's got legends that are screwed up. Oh, sorry, man, that's just B stock. Well, wait, what? No, what do you mean? And now, keep in mind, don't forget, vendors are stocking less and less extras now, because especially with what we've seen with companies going out of business because they're overstocking. We spoke about this last episode. Vendors are stocking less and less extras. So it's not like, hey, I could just return this if it's warped and then just get a set of the extras. No, you just may get screwed out of the entire wait time and the entire group buy just because you were not informed, or there's a something's getting lost in translation between GMK and the vendor. You know, like, whose responsibility is this? And I think the consumer has the right to know, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe people disagree.
I think we're all kind of agreeing here that it's GMK, like, it's GMK's fault, but it's more of like a, will they fix it? Should they fix it? And, you know, will they, or should, you know, who takes responsibility here?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Corbett on that, because, like, I'm
Like,
just
who takes
not
the
buying
monetary, who takes the monetary hit? Because GMK just could say, well, it's within spec, right? And then it's the vendor's fault. Like, the vendor's having to take the monetary hit for it.
Yeah, but what's happening now? Do we have? Are they passing blame? Because that's not good either. Like, get your story straight then. You know, if the vendor is blaming GMK and then GMK is saying no, it's the vendor's fault, then, like, still, again, it falls back on the consumer has the right to know what's going on here.
Yeah.
Especially, like I said, with these group buys and these wait times and everything else.
I'm not sure if I totally know how to. Let me go find a bit for this real quick.
It's multiple sets. Yeah, it looks to be like this is a trend. It's not. This is obviously an issue, and I'm not buying the whole vendor should have looked at it nonsense. No, I think this falls on GMK as well, but I don't exactly like the passing the buck either, right? Like, as a consumer, you deserve clear information, and if they're just passing the buck back and forth, that's not good either. That's not even good on the vendor. They should be pretty clear about what's going on too. And look, communication and transparency goes a long way, man. I believe me, I'm not perfect either with the cables and everything that we do, right? Like, sometimes people have to wait, but as long as you're transparent with people, let them know the process. Not just let them know the process, but let them like explain why sometimes things take too long, and even explain sometimes where margins are. It goes a long way, just communicating that to people, right? People are very understanding as long as you're transparent. So there really is no defense for just delivering subpar products and not having a clear explanation as to what's going on. And again, like I said, this isn't like a $50 PBT set, $40 PBT set from some random manufacturer. This is GMK, right? Creme de la creme, whatever the hell, you know, cream of the crop. So there's just no excuse.
The F and J being upside down and off with spacing and the mods being crooked is, I didn't even know like F and J's have been coming up upside down, to be honest. I do know that.
Yeah, that's the first I heard of that. Yeah.
GMK DMG R1 set. The first round they did GMK DMG. Some of my legends aren't like straight. It's pretty hard to tell, but once some of my friends pointed it out, I was like stuck in my head. Like, now I just see like they're super crooked. But that, I don't even know when that set ran. It had to be like, what, 2020, 2019? Drop had a similar issue with Hennessy, and they were aware of the issue, and they shipped free fixed replacements. Okay.
Yeah,
I've seen designers take upwards. Sorry, I was going to read one more chat. Cobert says, as far as margins go, I've seen designers take upwards of a $25 base kit fee. This takes into account all child kits. That's pretty good too, just for the designer.
And designers take over $25 per base. Damn, that's a nice royalty. God damn.
I might just start designing GMK sets.
Yeah, yeah. Let me
I think
get.
we're in the wrong business here.
Yeah, let's get keyboard render kit and start making some caps. Upside down isn't the right term. The molds for F and J weren't being placed correctly for a long time. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you were here, Future, for our last episode, but we actually took a look at modes keycaps and compared them from Alex's blog post. We compared them to the GMK set or some equivalent. The legends looked sharper, and I don't know if that's, like, I just wouldn't expect that. I don't know, like, looking at if a brand is coming out with keycaps pretty much for the first time and we're already seeing sharper legends, I don't know, man. I'm seeing a trend of some issues that maybe they're getting a little too comfortable on the throne, If you're buying a set that is not labeled as B stock, then someone is responsible and it's not the consumer. Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's something we can all agree on. I don't think that's...
Yeah. That's the moral of the story right there. That's the perfect synopsis, right? If you're being set a set that's not labeled as B stock, then someone is responsible and the consumer is not. You should know why it happened as well. And the reason why you should know why isn't because, like, not just because you're deserving because you purchased that set, but because of A, GMK's reputation, and B, because this is the industry, right? Buying sets, group buys, collecting money and doing pre-orders, right? So, and a lot of people are operating off of the strength of you're paying $150 to $180 because, hey, this is GMK, guys. This isn't X, Y, and Z, right? So, that also plays a huge part into it.
Cobert said when you're comparing mode to GMK's, Cobert responded saying brand new molds versus well-used cherry molds, which is very true. GMK molds have been through the ringer, so.
Well, okay, so agreed. So why are they not looking at ways to improve? It looks like we're regressing, not progressing.
I do hear like some people would be like, this is like a ridiculous issue. I saw this on Reddit. This is a ridiculous issue. They're literally more worried about MT new, their new profile with PBT, than they are like their current like timelines. Which I can fathom with people. I mean, think about it.
Is that confirmed? No, I don't really like.
What do you mean, the cherry profile, the new profile with PBT?
No, not as the new profile confirmed. Meaning, like, is it confirmed that that's what they're prioritizing?
Oh,
or is that
no, that's just what. That might be a whole new division, but that's just what people were saying on Reddit. That's just like one thing I noticed.
Right. My PBT cap legends are so crispy. I've been super happy with EB. Oh yeah, Enjoy PBT has been just the best since the beginning. I just a little history. I'm not as like well versed on like the keyboards like as someone as Chris is, or some of you guys probably are, but I've been in this hobby since basically it started. And even in the beginning, when Enjoy PBT first came out, they were like the PBT set to get. So that does not surprise me at all. From my understanding, they're like one of the few manufacturers who have the old cherry molds, right? Is that right, Chris?
Sorry, I was reading AK's. What was your question?
Enjoy PBT. Isn't it true that they're like one of the few PBT manufacturers that actually have the old cherry molds?
Oh, that would be a Cobert question. I have no clue.
Cobert, would you know?
Patches says my PBT cap legends are so crispy. I've been super happy with EPBT, and we do not think that GMK keeps their molds fresh and top quality. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was referencing.
You could also
in
look at
terms
the
of
back of the keycap, the double shot. It looks pretty messy. I mean, we could turn one of these caps over and take a look at it if I can find my keycap puller.
For what, GMK?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was just referencing that chat because I remember back in the day when, this is years ago when the hobby was still in its infancy, and I remember Enjoy PBT being like the best, and it's because they were one of the few that had the old cherry molds. It was like them and GMK, that was it at the time. So it's nice to see that Cobra confirm that, because that's probably
I can't find my I mean, these look crisp to me.
What are
And
you
yes,
looking at?
Wired In is a artisan cable maker. We're just taking a look at the back of the GMK keycaps.
Yeah, I'll link you the
Focus.
store in chat.
That does look pretty crisp. I think I did see one of the. It was like one of the back of the Wob keycaps where it just looked atrocious. I think it was the picture of Alex Soto's post that he made on his website. The back of it was just terrible. I've heard online that the new MT New line is complete, different than the Cherry Profile line, and that the MT New isn't interfering with the Cherry caps. Well, there's our answer there. I'm sure GMK wouldn't be prioritizing MT New and shutting down their other lines for this new profile. That just doesn't sound like something GMK would do with their current wait times.
If anybody has like dual window open and they have my stream open, I will show you what we're talking about right here.
Yeah,
right
I could do
now.
it to you if you want to link it to me.
Yeah, I'll link it to you right now. If anybody has both open, you could see GMK on top, mode on the bottom, and if we zoom in on the,
Alex Sotos.
I'm gonna link it in the chat. Hang on one sec.
Okay, yeah, link it in the chat if you could.
Copy
Alex
image address. I got it. Hang on one sec.
Oh, I have it right here. Okay, we can go to. I hope this works. Oh, that was not right.
Thank you for the follow.
There's a user who compared Kikubo PPT line, Linworks and GMK. It's on image. Oh wow, I do want to take a look at that. Also, I would like to compare Swag Keys keycaps because I've heard really promising things about Swag Keys PBT EBS blend.
Yeah, well, I think in our search, because we've been looking to have our caps made, right, and we've been wanting to go to the double shot road, and it seems as if that's what it is, right? A blend of ABS and PBT, and we're hoping that the Legends will look like this.
Wuche Studios, yeah. So
Yeah.
we do have a in stock line of Swag Keys keycaps coming, so we could definitely give those like a good comparison,
Right.
as well. But I am really optimistic about Swag Keys manufacturers and Zero B non-circular Limos win. Oh, dude, we hate working with Zero Bs because they're so small.
Oh,
Here's what I was talking
Spooky.
about with the upside down.
Spooky in the building. What's up, Spooky? If you don't know who he is,
Thank you, Peter, for the follow.
Follow him on Instagram. He's got the legit artisans for real, for real.
One second, let me try to pull this up here on stream without working and everything.
Yeah. So in terms of Legends, yeah, hoping we can do something like that would be really nice too. But it's just been an interesting ride, kind of learning about a lot of that, right? Like, first thing you learn is there's not that many different manufacturers for these keycaps, right? There's just a few, and that everybody's using. So it's not like there's a ton of competition out there when it comes to the manufacturing of them. But at the end of the day, you're just not going to get the acoustics that you get from ABS. With PBT, that's just the only frustrating thing. I know that I probably speak alone in this in this stream when I say that I prefer PBT, only because I don't know if it's my sausage fingers but just too damn oily, but my GMKs get rocked after just like a week of use. So I don't know. In
Probably
terms
lay
of
off on
durability,
the fried chicken.
yeah, or something. I don't know what it is, man. I just can't fuck with GMK too long.
Off center F and J. Oh, okay.
JTK triple shot for the win.
Bar
I wish
J
bigger
keycap
menus
off
were
center
doing
to the
triple
left
shot.
side.
Yeah, that's true, P-Patches. I wish that we saw more of them as well. Everything's die sub. It's just boring.
Oh.
I like PBT for silent builds. Yeah, I got them on a silent build too. They are good for that. Look, I don't think the acoustics are that terrible. but it's just there's just something about that slap that ABS gives you that's just yeah, your ABS shines faster. Yeah, that's the only thing that gets me, man. I know they say like embrace the shine, right? Like just embrace it, but I don't know. I just can't. I can't. I can't embrace the shine. Every time I get to my setup and I see it, it just bothers me.
I love
So
a
it
good
goes on
shine.
the pegboard.
It means I got my money worth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, please, man. You won't even type to me on Discord DMs because you're afraid of shining your cap so much.
Yeah, I literally send voice chats because I don't want to shine my keycaps. That's
you
how
for
to
the follow,
solve.
Isoda.
That's how you solve ABS shining. You just don't type. Shine is patina. It's plastic patina. Thank you, bro, for the follow. I tossed my keycaps in a used KFC bucket to season them ahead of time. That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. Might as well just get it over with, right? Just shine them first and then put them on. Fuck it.
One interesting thing that we've gotten actually quite a few requests of is sandblasting keycaps.
1,000 IQ play facts.
We have yet to sandblast keycaps. I'm sure someone has had to do it, right? Has anyone ever like someone on Reddit, has anyone ever like sandblasted keycaps to like an attempt to remove shine from keycaps?
I would imagine that would not be good. That would just like ruin the texture. What I want is we need to invent some kind of ceramic spray that we could just spray on keycaps.
Not on chat, bro. I'm just kidding. It's like not. It's a great way to share your invention on a Twitch chat.
Oh yeah, right. That's it. Forget it. Somebody's gonna steal it.
This is just full of our. Thank you, Gexter for the follow.
Yeah. By the way, I patented that idea, so don't steal it.
Yeah, we already got our attorney lawyers. It's patent pending. It's not actually a patent yet.
We sent it to ourselves in the mail.
I know American Haptics has had that metal set for a while. It's just an arm and a leg, and I don't feel like selling my kidney yet. I've never seen sandblasting, but acetal vapor chambers have been used. Interesting.
Does it work, Colbert?
Gexter says that sandblasting will destroy them.
Yeah, it would. It would destroy the texture at least. It would.
Well, I mean, you could get different grit sandblasting, right? So a lot of the sandblasting we use is like 150 to 200 grit because it gives a smoother finish. Although it does take a little longer to sandblast because it's it's just like using sandpaper. It's gonna give you a better finish.
I think the problem though with it's not actually layering the caps with shine. I think what's happening is the actual material is deteriorating. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if it was the fact that oil was getting on them that you just can't get off, then that would be different because like maybe sandblasting a very thin layer of the actual oil off might help. But if it's actually deteriorating the plastic itself and just making them smooth and quote unquote shiny, then sandblasting another layer down isn't really going to do anything.
Yeah, correct. Every time I've done it, every time someone's asked, I'd be like, sure, we can at your own risk. And then I never hear back, so.
Oh, someone has asked you to do that?
No, that's why I got the idea. Many people have asked us if we can do that.
Oh shit! I would never think.
Yeah.
I would never even think of doing that. That's crazy.
Neither would I. I just embrace the shine. Granted, like I switch out keyboards, so I don't really have like a stupid amount of shine on one set, and I also don't game very often, so it's not like my WASD is like shined more than the rest. Like
Spooky said sandblasting with ceramic media is very minimal abrasion on my chat. Yeah, but again, like, yeah, I don't think it's a layer thing. I think it's just the material deteriorating. But what we were saying before, I don't know if you heard, I think probably some type of like ceramic spray or coating that you could put on the caps beforehand would probably be the best invention or way to reduce the issues with durability on the GMK or any ABS keycaps.
Yeah, or you just wear gloves.
Yeah, right? Or just type with your
That's what Kim says. Just wear gloves. Gexter says, although it could be interesting to lightly etch keycaps and Cerakote them with some C-series. So Gexter, if you would like to send us some keycaps, we would be more than happy to use some of our C-series on them. That should solve all issues. I also don't know how much. I know C-series is air cured, But if anyone could look up, like, I guess I could look it up, like how much temperature can PBT and ABS like withstand? Because if it can be like 150, then maybe we could throw the oven on like 150 and keep it for like 6 hours, see if that changes anything.
Right.
Use low pressure and different grit for plastics. Yeah, that's what we do. I really like shine. It makes me feel special when used. Yeah. Hey, some people like their signed keycaps. And some people don't mind it more than others.
If I didn't want to use everything for pictures, then I don't know. Like like I would embrace it more, but then the second you put any type of like lighting on that shit and you want to take pictures, it's so bad.
Yeah, I know Captain Sterling really hates it when he has signed keycaps because the light just bounces right off the keycaps.
Yeah, it just looks like worn. I'm sure like in certain environments for pictures, like if you're trying to go for like a really used or rustic look, it can work. But there's just nothing like a crispy set.
You know, we could, if someone wants to volunteer their keycap set, we can go ahead and apply our air cured Cerakote over them.
I'm sure I have a set laying around if you want to try that. I don't even know. You think?
I mean, I gave you like some of my sets I wasn't using, and then I just gave away a keycap set that I wasn't using in our Discord. So I don't really have any more sets that I wouldn't throw in the Cerakote.
Yeah, how would the clear coat? Like, how thick is the clear coat for Cerakote? Like, could you just throw that on?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have like the information off the top of my head, like how many mils thick it is. I'm not too sure off the top of my head. We do have a mil thickness gauge to make sure like our spraying is consistent, and we're not going too thick with our spray because it's a pretty common issue. And I also don't know where my plate fork is, so don't mind me using a switch puller to straighten out this plate.
Kobe said like the shrink wrap sort of process people did on the 7V weights. Do you know what that is?
I would just think it's just normal shrink wrap that they use for like packaging to protect the 7V weights.
You could probably clear coat Cerakote. We went through that. How nice sets need to be. How nice did the sets need to be? I have.
We could do it on some blanks. Realistically, I probably wouldn't. I don't know if I'd feel comfortable doing it on anyone else's keycaps but my own.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Honestly, like I could just try them with like some extension kits that I have and don't use.
It was a self-healing coating. Talking about the
self-healing coating. That is interesting.
Talking about the shrink wrap process on the 7V weights.
I had a 7V and I do not know about this, so I actually really enjoyed the 7V. That was one of my favorite 75% ever.
Okay. You want to talk about this drop and Corsair situation?
Wow, yeah, $15 for the entire blank set. That is pretty good. It's pennies. That's like just shipping, basically. You'd pour hot water on it, and it'll remove the scratches. Are you serious? Did all 7V weights come like that? Have you heard about this?
Wait. No.
Kobe says you'd pour hot water on it and remove the scratches. Because I had so many scratches on my 7V.
No.
Oh no. Okay, it was like a third party thing that people would do. It's an aftermarket finish. Wow. Okay, I would like to look into that though.
Yeah, that sounds like it may work.
And if you're not sure about the 7V, it had a big old fat stainless steel weight, so it was like pretty easy to scratch up.
Yeah, super prone to scratching. Yeah.
That's the only issue about those mirrored weights. Don't forget to use acetone to clean your ABS keycaps.
That kind of reminds me of Hibby's key. What's the name of the keyboard that she released that has the acrylic bottom where she's with a clear bottom rather? Yeah, is it called the Hebe? That's it.
Yeah, it's called the Hebe.
I know I bought one. I'm still waiting for one, but that I mean the whole concept behind that was like literally scratch it, like that's
was that glass?
That gives it its charm. I don't know what it's made out of. I have no idea.
So basically, just don't put feet on it.
I thought it was a acrylic or something or some kind of plastic. I know it was covered in one of the build streams, so I just forget. But I think that's kind of cool. Like if you make something centered around actually it getting worn, and that brings out its charm. It reminds me of like natural leather, right? Like if you have something that's natural grain leather, especially like brown leather or tan, especially like a watch band or something, the more you wear it, the more it collects oils. It actually starts to look nicer over time. It gets that worn in look, but it actually adds
Polycarb.
character to it, you know?
Just like patina. Is that blue?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
No, it's not.
Don't forget to use acetone to clean your ABS keycaps.
Oh, still have some.
I don't know. I tried acetone, bro. It didn't work for me. Yeah, it didn't do much. Maybe they were just too far gone. I don't know.
Would you try it on your Metropolis set?
Yeah, on the Metro set, yeah. Because that's my most shine GMK set. I mean, everything else has been in pretty steady rotation.
Is it R1 Metropolis?
Yes.
Oh, acetone melts ABS. Wait, so you just melted your keycaps? I don't even clean my keycaps, so if I'm being honest.
No, I just took acetone and like rubbed it on the top.
I did not
And then,
know
like,
that's how you
soak
smooth
it.
ABS prints. Use acetone. That was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I wasn't using strong enough acetone. Maybe it was just like nail polish remover
Yeah,
or whatever.
these-
But I tried using that shit on the top of the ABS and it just didn't do anything.
Yeah, these are the new Mocha ST switches from Swagkeys. So the normal Mochas are box switches, but these are the normal stem variants of the Mochas.
I can't see. What are you showing me?
Oh no, the feature asked, are these the Mocha switches?
Oh, because you have your top down. I can't
Yeah.
see your top down. Let me see on stream. Do you have your top down on stream?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'm just behind.
Yeah. Well, no, I've had it up for a while.
Oh, there it is. Okay, I had my stream open, thinking it was yours.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Acetone should not be used. We hope. So, did you actually use acetone on your keycaps?
What are you building? Is that an Envoy? It's not.
This is a Mode 65.
Mode 65. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
about to say.
I've never tried a Mode 65.
Send that my way when you're done. I haven't tried one either.
This
Where'd you
is-
get one? Did you been had it or?
I got this. No, I just recently got this from where is she? She was in the chat earlier.
Oh, it's a customer.
Yeah. Well, I bought it. I don't know where she went. Isopropyl alcohol is the way to go. Oh, there she is. Strawberry milk. I got it from Strawberry Milk.
Infinite 60 leak. Yep.
Yep.
There it is.
Well, this is the Infinite 60 right here. This is the OC.
Oh yeah, because doesn't have the Lindy cable.
Yeah. I gotta ship the Infinite back to Bowl.
They look
Oh, let's
awfully
take it to
similar
the-
actually from top down.
They do. I mean, they're both silver HHKB boards. That like does not help at all.
Does our Infinite have the lip in the front or?
Nope, there's no cherry lip.
Yeah, it looks.
Dude, Bowl is the
super
homie.
similar.
We love him. He does great work. Yeah. Holy shit. Thank you, Smirk, for the five gifted subs.
Give the subs, yeah. Thank you very much.
Holy shit. Yeah, so Kim, this is the OC62 and this is the Infinite. I brought both of them to the meetup. Was that yesterday? Feels like 3 years ago, but thank you for this follow as well, Smirk. You did not have to do that. Ship it to me and I'll forward it. Okay, yeah, let me just do that real quick. Just make sure he gets it by Saturday for the Chicago meet, if you don't mind. Oh, some switches popping out here. I am excited to try these Mocha switches though. I've heard a lot of people have been enjoying them. The box versions. But the regular sim just came out, so haven't heard much about this.
Thanks for the
Thank
sub,
you.
Smirk.
Yep, appreciate that. Yeah, synthetics and Bold did a great job with this OC as well. This thing is so good. What up, Thrash?
Yeah, I got to type on one.
I know you're missing out, man.
It was one of the few I didn't grab because I was too busy with the or other project.
Yeah. The Pro
TB.
Tag.
TB announced. To be TBIC actually, right?
To be
Or
announced.
Proto's in the mail.
Yeah, so the Mochas are long pole. Not sure exactly how long the stem is. It is on the website. I can look it up real quick.
Mode makes some good keebs. Yeah.
That was a slow yeah.
Yeah, only because like I feel like their acrylic is weak sauce. Like I have 2 mode sonnets and one of them has an acrylic bottom, and I just was not really too crazy about the quality of the acrylic. It felt a little thin to
You mean
me.
that polycarb?
Yeah, I don't know why I'm sorry. Yeah, the poly. And if you get a sonnet with like a weight that is not stainless steel, it's too light of a board in my opinion. You kind of need to get a decent weight.
It is light, but I also have the aluminum because I'm gonna Cerakote it, so I don't really have a need. And I actually kind of enjoy the aluminum version. I'm not gonna lie. It is definitely on the lighter side for 75%, but
I don't think it sounds as good as when it has the regular weight.
I bet
To me, the acoustics, the board becomes worth it at like 350.
Yeah, and I think my
400.
version was like.
And then when you're there,
300.
so here's my problem with Mode. I think first of all, I'm trying to follow in Mode's footsteps. I think what they're doing for the community, I think what they do as a whole, I think the way that they engage with the hobby and engage with people and actually use people from the community to design keycaps, to do Cerakote like they did with Loobed. Everything about them I think is positive. So I'm not trying to knock them as a brand. I think they're amazing. It's just that like when you look at a sonnet, and I'm using one right now, right? Like,
Thank you, Ravis, for the follow.
So the thing is though, like, in my opinion, to make a sonnet quote unquote usable, you got to be in the $350 to $400 range, and then when you're there, you have to start comparing the board to $400 keyboards.
Holy shit,
right?
dude! Thank you so much, Lightning, for the rate of 70 people. That is awesome. Holy shit.
Yeah, thank you for the raid. Awesome. Thank you, Lightning.
Dude, what up? Also, Strawberry Milk says, I have 8 sonnets now, but hate the polycarb bottom. So I guess I can attest to the polycarb bottom. I've never had it. I've never tried it. So I actually have like no opinion on it. I like the PC bottom, especially with something like a copper plate. I do love just PC in general. PC just looks so good.
Why you talking about what?
Thrashin was talking about the PC bottom for the mode.
Coffee said I sold my sonnet. Yeah, I think it's a good board to own. Like, I'm not trying to bash it. I just once you get to that range of like 350 to 400, I think you start you like I said, you start comparing it to other boards that are $300 to $400, and it becomes a good board. It's a solid board, but it just doesn't. It's not. I think the key aspect of the mode is that it's in stock. It's something that someone new to the hobby, if they want something premium and they really want to feel what a good board feels like without waiting for a group buy, that sonnet is there. Like, and that's all the community could really ask for at this point.
Also do want to kind of introduce what we're doing here for all the new viewers.
Yeah, shoot.
I'm Chris from Loobed Switches, and this is my partner Wired In. This is our second episode of our little keyboard typecast, where we just kind of get political with keyboards, talk about what's going on in the hobby, talk business, just, try to connect with people on a deeper level. And, yep, we do it every Sunday at 10 PM EST. So I think that's, 7 PM Pacific time? Thank you, Conan, for the follow. Is there anything I'm missing here?
On your math.
Thank you. As a college dropout, it means a lot to me. But is there anything else I'm missing here for all the new people in the chat?
No, look, we just do it every Sunday. Just want to talk and kind of see where we're at, where the hobby's at, and just, we both run stores, right? Like online stores. So I think giving people perspective on the back end of the business, especially when looking at some hot topics or news that's coming out in reference to the hobby, and especially where the hobby has been going post-COVID. I think it's a good perspective to give people. And I think communication is just good as a whole. So happy to be here, happy to talk about it, and I think it's been fun so far. It's been great.
Thank you so much for the kind words, Strawberry Milk. What up, Pogert? Hobby is really starting to slow down now. At least it feels like it. I mean, that is definitely true. It's thank you, Plastic Bits, for the follow. It's pretty damn hard to beat 2021. Driving but tuning in. Okay, well, let's just be careful while driving. Mod musings, but thank you so much for tuning in.
Yeah, I think it depends on what era you're comparing it to. Like, if you're comparing it to the COVID era, then yeah, it's definitely slowing down. But if you're comparing it to the pre-COVID era, I think we're definitely seeing a steady incline in the hobby. I see new. I mean, I was just talking to someone randomly recently just about marketing, and he was like, "Oh, you're doing keyboards?" He's like, "Oh, one of my friends just convinced me to buy my first mechanical keyboard, right?" And it was. I'm seeing more and more normies kind of get into it, which is interesting. So I don't know. I think that's a good conversation to have. Like, do we feel like the hobby is getting more popular? Because comparing it to the COVID era is just going to be tough, because obviously there was a lot more people spending money and a lot more people that were like kind of invested in it because they had more time on their hands. And I also think with the change in economy too, right? Like we're in a pretty tough period in terms of inflation. And a lot of companies going out of business. So I think that people are getting a little jaded from everything. So we may see some dwindling, but I think it's still good. I think it's still hanging in there.
2021 was a wild ride. That was like one time to be in the keyboard hobby. Like, I love all the 2021 drama, like everyone complaining about in-stock items. Like, that was just the era to be here, right? But also, for so long, the keyboard community also asked for in-stock items, right? Like, we all, like, at the end of the day, all we wanted was in-stock GMK keycaps, in-stock quality keyboards. Like, this is all we ever asked for. Now that we have it, we're, perhaps taking it for granted, but, I think this
QK65 was the board that started the budget craze.
Yeah.
Yes, and I actually kind of want to segue that into the conversation about Corsair, because I was actually talking, for the people that came in, I mentioned it earlier, I was talking to someone on Reddit just about like what the impact affordable boards has on the hobby, if it's a good thing or if it's a bad thing. And someone brought up an interesting thought experiment, which was, do you feel like a big brand like Corsair, Razer, or Logitech purchasing a company like QK and the QK60, do you think that would be a good thing for the hobby? And then sure enough, what did we just see, right? Corsair purchasing Drop and Geekhack. So we're seeing like these bigger brands get into the hobby, or they're obviously got their eyes peeled. So I think that kind of adds credence to what we were discussing. Where is the hobby headed? Well, maybe it is becoming more popular than you think if we have big brands like Corsair looking to make purchases,
I'm gonna kind of read through the chat. It's getting a little hectic here. So many people. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Bro says, doesn't help that the cost of group buys are in the hundreds, and money is shit for everyone right now. It's harder for people to want to be active in the hobby. I hit up the Vanguard 65 group buy, but I probably wouldn't be joining another for an extremely long time. I mean, yeah, I think that's definitely true.
Yeah, and the market will adjust for that though, right? Like, while I think that these more affordable boards bring people into the hobby, it also creates a certain consumer base where people are expecting to spend a certain amount of money, and you see tons and tons of Reddit threads of people saying, hey, why would I buy a $400 or $500 keyboard when I could buy a $200 QK or a $200 Mode Envoy, and it's going to sound just as good, right? Or better in their mind. When in reality, that's not really the case. And I think there's a solid argument to be said that more expensive boards are more expensive for a reason. And I think it's important to realize that, it's if you have the money and you're in the hobby and you believe in the hobby, it's always great to support up and coming artists and companies, because there would be no modes, there would be no QKs, there would be no drops if people didn't support these brands when they were in their infancy. And if you look at it that way, I think that's an important message to relate to newcomers in the hobby, that, hey, yeah, you are going to get a better product. And yeah, while you may feel like it may be more advantageous to get the budget item. If you do like this hobby and you feel like you're here to stay, take a look at what some of these artisans are doing. Pay the extra money to support a small business, you know, because it does help, and it does help drive the hobby forward, if that makes sense.
For sure. Feature says it's forcing the hobby into two sections. Either get something on the cheaper end and that's mass produced, or get something like a keyboard that's mass expensive and very low unit. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like, I feel like that's always what it's sort of, it's not always what it's been like, because now we do have like boards that are like so well priced for what you get. Like we just saw the Type, was it the Cycle 7? Is that the keyboard? That keyboard's just incredible for the price tag. I think it starts at like 140 or something like that for FRL TKL.
Yeah, well, yeah, like I said, I mean, that is true. But I think we're also in an era where there's companies are like people are losing trust in group buys as well and things of that nature. So I would kind of like to see where things head after that trust is reestablished, where people are back to investing in brands and boards, because I think the community is like just like super worn out by losing money. Even veterans in the game who are like in on every group buy, you know, are getting really discouraged by the fact that they just don't know when their products are arriving, or if the company that they're going to be joining in on a group buy is going to be in business in the next, you know, 2 months or so. So hopefully some of that stuff recovers as well, and we see people reinvesting and more people investing in group buys and innovative products and stuff that really tries to think outside the box, you know. I think there are some like keyboards that are kind of outside the hobby too, that are keyboards that are actually doing pretty well too, like that Lego board. And then there's that other
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that board. It was like the Atom or something like that.
And then that keyboard, that for gamers that has like the super like advanced
Wu-Ting?
Yeah, the Wu-Ting and stuff. We've definitely seen some of those boards do really, really well too. And I wouldn't say that they're marketed towards the hobby like a lot of the stuff that we do is. But they're selling, right? So maybe we find a way to kind of bring some of those people in, and hey, maybe this Corsair merger will do that. Who knows, right? Maybe that will bring more mainstream people into the hobby. Whether that's going to be a good thing, because people are going to come in and say, "Oh my God, these people are the monster cables of keyboards. No thanks," right? Or they're going to actually look at it as a good thing and invest. And that's what you want. You want people to spend money because it only leads to better products.
I do want to kind of read the chat here a little bit. Plastic Bits was
thanks.
saying also there was something about Mexico. Yeah, we touched on that a pretty good amount last week. Yeah, it's kind of been beaten like a dead horse, like Kim says. That's like had its whole drama, and I'm just waiting for Cobert to release his, you know, another statement about that on Reddit, because I love a good drama. Kobe says, I feel as if the hobby, we shouldn't, not saying gatekeep, but try to prevent big tech companies to purchase an established manufacturer whom will come and then just pump out, and then there'd be no buyers from, chat's going so fast. Since the hobby is slowing down compared to 1 or 2 years ago, Coffee says, I don't know, I think the hobby is really starting to get into boards that are sub 2 to 300. Yeah, I do kind of agree with that. There's never been such a big need for those budget boards, but also, you know, a lot of those people, they're going to realize that there are also, you know, better boards out there, and there's a lot more out there to explore in the hobby. So maybe once they kind of get past that little phase of, or, you know, they start exploring the hobby more, perhaps they will get more smaller RAM boards. You think that's the case?
They'll grow into. Yeah, I think so. I think people. I got to do something about this alert. Thank you for the follow, Coffee Ma. So I think it's smart, if you can do it as a retailer, to have a board that is for the enthusiast and to have a product that is for the budget centric buyer. I think that's probably the ideal situation, right? And you see bigger companies, they have that. The problem lies for me, and where I'm really concerned, is when you have like a company like Corsair, and I think someone in the chat actually just said this. When you have a company like Corsair or Razer, they're going to be looking to pump out units, right? And it's not exactly like these companies have cheap products. A lot of the times, their boards, look at Razer, right? Like their keyboards are like $200. You know, they're not cheaper than an Envoy, and
Yeah.
you're not getting an Envoy. You're not getting a QK60. In my opinion, you're not getting anything that's nearly as good. So what I fear is that they're going to come in the hobby, they're going to try to leech the hobby, and then they're going to produce something that's just not going to be anything that we would consider worth it for the money, and create a trend of this is what keyboard should be valued at, right? Like you shouldn't be spending X amount of dollars, get this keyboard, look at all these cool gimmicks that we've added, and they're not really anything. And then when you try to actually explain that to somebody who just doesn't even know or understand the difference between the acoustics and certain metals and materials, like that's just going to be the main bottleneck, right? It's not really gatekeeping. It's just going to be, how do you relate that information? How do you explain to a buyer that, hey, it's worth it to buy this keyboard because it sounds so good, if they don't really care to begin with? So I just fear it's going to bring in that type of community that just might be a little tough to work out and sort out. And if that starts to crowd or cloud the conversation, it's going to be really difficult and really tough time for the community to kind of weed out that stuff. And maybe a little gatekeeping isn't so bad, you know?
Colbert said from insider info about the drop and Corsair acquirement will be pretty hands off. They'll be mainly for R&D development, which I probably could have guessed. I couldn't imagine Corsair coming in and doing much good for drop. I think that would kind of like take them off their line there. Gexter says,
it's kind of what they always say though, like to kind of just address that chat.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they always say though, right? Like what was it when Activision purchased Blizzard? They said that they were going to be hands off, and then they just basically ruined the company. So
Gexter says, I think people lose interest in the hobby after they purchase V premium boards. I think they will come to realize that there's not a ton of difference in the keyboards, and they can't justify spending 300 plus for the same board layout, different typing angle. Yeah, which is totally true. It is hard to have thousands of dollars of keyboards that all relatively sound and feel the same, and that are all great boards. You're not going to spend $300 on a board and it's going to be garbage, right? But I think I feel like there's a few different like paths that people take in the hobby once you've gotten towards that, like you're a little bit bored, right? You become a designer, you become a vendor, or you become a content creator. Like, am I wrong? Like,
yeah, you're kind of true.
What else do you do in the hobby? Like, if you don't want to become a vendor, you don't want to get into business, or then you find out what you like and you start designing stuff that you like, right? Because that's like half the fun, is being able, like, you can't just like design a car, right? If you're a car person, you can't just go design a car that's centered around your driving style, but you can a keyboard. So I think that's one of the advantages that this hobby has to offer. Yep, we are building the Mode 65. I don't know what caps to put on it. Like, I could put lavender, I could put J Pink on it. I think it would kind of complement this well. I could put Frost Witch. I could put a few sets. I need to see what we have. Look how Corsair handled the acquisition of Elgato. Yeah, that is true. I feel like that was pretty hands-off, and Elgato's done nothing but good recently. Whatever happened to that board that was like a display with transparent keycaps? Whatever happened to the board that was a display with transparent keycaps? I'm not sure exactly. The one with the mouse brand. Oh, Final Mouse. Yeah, I think that's... I'm sure they're having like some production issues if it's been released already. I couldn't imagine that being a super easy board to manufacture. Drop doesn't want to make keyboards that are too good anyways. Lol. Yeah, if there's one thing we could learn about the Drop alt, right, and the Synth 75 is, maybe they do have some work that needs to be cut out.
Yeah, that does. I mean, but hey, look. Oh, by the way, thank you for the follow, FutureBound. I appreciate it. That's kind of like where a lot of people started, though, right? I think even I grabbed an alt at one point when I came back into the hobby, and I think that was, so it's like such a mixed bag, right? Because you look at something like that, and I think it was a positive, because a lot of people got entered into the hobby through Drop, because Drop started on Geekhack. I remember when they first like broke off and created Drop the website instead of running just through Geekhack. And when they first started that, people loved it. People really love the fact that they had like one area where they could do group buys and sign up for group buys, because in the past, back in the old days, everybody would just kind of do it through the forum, right? So it was like a big plus that they had created a website to do all that. And when they released the keyboard, the Drop Alt, it did very well, and it also introduced people into the hobby, which I think was a net positive. But as things get more oversaturated and we get more companies releasing cheaper boards, is that trend going to follow where it segues people into the hobby as well? There was something I wanted to mention in reference to, I think a big part of what we're seeing as well in terms of like a customer who doesn't want to purchase a $300 board because they may be like jaded, or they may feel like, oh man, I got a premium board already, why do I need another one that's at a slightly different angle? I think a lot of people get FOMO after a while. I mean, I know personally, like I'm a tech guy, I love computers, I love keyboards, I love all this stuff. After a while, I think things get stale, and you want to upgrade your setup, you want to update your setup, and I think no matter who you are, you will eventually get to that point where like, hey, what else is going on? But I think the problem lies is when things get oversaturated.
Sorry, can you guys hear my dog?
No.
Well,
I think the problem is when things get oversaturated, and when things get oversaturated and there's so many options, the main bottleneck becomes information. I think people really just get discouraged because like, what the hell am I looking at? There's so many different options. I don't even know what to buy. Oh, screw this. I'm going on to do something else. And I think that might be really where the problem lies. And we're actually trying to address that. We're trying to create a bunch of different things to educate the consumers. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe because Discord has like it
has a Discord. It's because Discord noise suppression. That's why you can't hear.
Yeah. I didn't hear the dog, but
Kim, there's no containing her. Her name's Luby, by the way. If you couldn't get where that's from, she's Loobed Switches mascot. But there's no containing her. She does whatever she wants. She's sassy. Can you see her on Discord?
Drop owns Geek Hack now, which is funny. Yeah. We were just talking about that for John. That's facts. That's where they started too, which is
Luby. Oh, it's Looby. We need to see her on stream. Can I get her?
Interesting to go from there to actually owning them is pretty crazy.
Here, let me see if I can't do this dual cam. Here we go. Hey, she's being sassy right now. She doesn't like being held. Dude, she's so heavy. This is our heaviest dog. We have 3 dogs, and this is our heaviest one. What's your
How old is she?
Huh?
How old is she?
She's not even a year. She's like...
Oh, wow, she's a pup.
Yeah, she's like 9-10 months. Luby, yeah. She's so cute. We have like a Maltese and then a little Yorkie, so we've only had like 10-pound dogs, and to have like a 20-pound dog is just like crazy to us. What are circuit turnarounds for? Yeah, it's about 3 to 5 weeks right now. It just also depends. Like if we have like a color that we're already in the process of doing, we'll go ahead and do that in.
Yeah, it can get pretty random because like if some of the popular colors obviously are gonna get done faster, because there are more orders, right? So if you have someone who places an order recently, but we're doing someone, or Chris rather is doing someone from 2-3 weeks ago that's white, obviously a new order that comes in that wants white is gonna get done. So 3 to 4 weeks is pretty typical, but definitely trying to improve on times, right?
Yep, for sure. Always trying to improve on times. That's always something. We are in the process of renovating a little bit. So after the renovations, it should be about like 5 days for the renovations to be done. But once that's done, that should help speed up our timelines and get things going a lot faster. Do we offer Forge Patina? Yes, we do. We don't have the most extensive patina catalog out there, but we definitely have messed with some patina and do have all the supplies to do it. Just do whatever you'd like. We need more Geons and Chris's. Yeah, I'd love Geon.
Yeah, you can also hit me up about the patina as well. I know Chris is pretty slammed with the Cerakote, but I've been messing with it too, so getting pretty good. So
I'd love to check out Geon's streams. I just can't understand. I don't know Korean, so I have no clue what he's talking about. Clear coat on raw alu, is that something you can do for Cerakote? Yes, we can. We definitely have a clear coat Cerakote that is actually meant for raw aluminum. Geon has subtitles. I didn't even know that was a thing. Because I looked at his chat and it was like all Korean. I didn't even know there was subtitles on Twitch, if I'm being honest. I also have no clue what keycaps we should throw on this. But like, should we put on like something purple? I don't know if we should put on CRP. We can if we want, but I don't know if
Thank
you
you,
guys want to hear the PPT.
thank
Go
you,
ahead.
abstraction layer. Am I pronouncing that correct? Thank you for the follow, brother.
Yeah, you can always just PM us on Instagram, Discord, or fill out the form on the website, and we can get you taken care of. There's been some posts on Reddit recently about I did make a little announcement about that in the Discord a little bit ago. I can link it to you if you PM me. We got everything sorted with the customer and made sure things were right. So we'll always make sure that people are taken care of, whether it's public or not. Aren't that accurate and pretty slow? Yeah, I mean it's better than nothing though. If I can't understand it, I wouldn't really know if it's slow or not. But I do imagine it's pretty difficult with things being live. Maybe make a response on the Reddit post so people don't. They made an update on the Reddit post.
Just gonna pin that so the bot stops automatically posting that.
Oh, that's a bot. I just thought you were like copy and paste that every time.
Oh no. I had just set it to automatically remind people, but I just pinned it so it doesn't have to keep sending it.
Yeah, if anyone ever has a question regarding their order, like a cable or Cerakote timeline, you can feel free to PM me on Discord, and I'll get you taken care of. As long as I'm not streaming, I should be able to get back to you in a relatively short time. I don't get off Discord.
Yeah, Discord's always the best. It's so much. So many people message me too on the website chat. I answer that too, obviously, because it pings my phone. But Discord is always so much easier, just to even talk to people or share information or share pictures, share ideas. It's just always easier on Discord. And there's also a paper trail too, because the inbox on the website isn't going to give you a history of what we spoke about really. It'll give me one. And I think Discord, keeping a log of what we discussed, especially on some super custom jobs and cables, it's just a lot easier. I wanted to ask you something, and I forgot what it was.
I also don't know what keycaps to throw on this. Do you have any ideas? Like this lilac is kind of like a hard color to.
Why don't you let me see it. Why don't you finally use your Dracula set?
I mean, I could. Would Dracula look good on lilac? What do you think?
It's lilac? I thought it was silver, the board.
No, I'm using just built the Mode 65. Does it look silver on stream?
Oh. Yeah, it looks silver to me. I don't know.
Amethyst? I don't have amethyst. I have like, I could put any key. I have like lavender. I don't know if we want to do like purple or something. I have lavender, frost witch, rainy day. Let me open up the drawer real quick.
Yeah, I think that Dracula would look good on the lilac as well. I'm with Chad on this one.
Frost witch? Yeah, we could do frost witch. Black on white. I do have Hennessy. Is Kyrist in here? Oh, what up, Kyrist? I think Dracula would look good on the lilac. Is that like a... Am I supposed to have that command? Like, shout out IG? Is that like a Streamlabs thing I'm missing? I have like Wasabi, Civilizations, Metropolis, both the analog dream sets, 8008, Lavender, Zooted, Fuji, Hennessy, both the Dandies, Norse, Rainy Day, Shoko, Frostwitch. Do have Dracula. I do have Moto Light too. That could look good. Civilians or Civilizations would be classic. Yeah, I just don't know if I want to do black on white. I would also have to find the complete Hennessy set. It has to be in like 3 different containers. Maybe
Frost Switch is a good option too. I really like Frost Switch.
Okay, we could do Frost Switch. It's on the F1 right now. We'll do Frost Switch for now. We could always change it later.
Ah, dude. If you already have it on the board, then you do Dracula.
Dracula? Okay. We'll just do Dracula.
I think you sleep on that set. I think that set's.
I mean, that's why it's not on the keyboard, right?
Yeah, so but look, I think any progress in the hobby is a good thing. seeing any kind of movement, even if it's a big company, only time will tell either way. It could be the best move, it could be the worst move, we won't know. But I think seeing some kind of progress or interest at least, I think is a positive, is a silver lining,
Sorry, what were we talking about?
No, just rehashing just some stuff about like the Corsair thing.
Okay. We should probably get going on the next topic. Do we have any planned next?
We're actually over time. Probably want to wrap it up soon.
Okay, we can go ahead hit maybe one more thing before we. It'll be paused until it's not.
Yeah, but I think, like I said, if you just try to take an optimistic look at things, even if it winds up failing and being terrible, more eyeballs, right? Even just the news itself of Corsair inheriting Drop, which is essentially a mechanical keyboard website, right? Even the news itself may just bring more eyeballs, and that can only be beneficial. So just try to remain optimistic about it. I wouldn't get too discouraged. I think people are going to still create, and I think things are still going to get more cool and more detailed and more intricate,
Use the colored arrows if you have them. I actually don't know like what kitting I have because I literally just all put it in this container, so I have no clue what I have.
Yeah, coffee. That's the best. That's how I look at it. I try to look at things too, I mean, I always talk about like, look, if you want to make a fortune, this is probably not the industry to do it. A lot of this stuff is fueled by passion. That's for damn sure. But I do try to remain optimistic, and at the least it'll be interesting, right? Like, who would have known COVID would have been great for the hobby, right? You just never know.
Geekster says, I think there are a lot of smaller niche companies that are going to end up going out of business. Yeah, I think kind of recently, like someone I communicated with was Doge Mods. Doge Mods did shut his doors.
Yeah, and I will say something about this though. I don't think anybody really should get too discouraged about that type of stuff though, because it's only natural. Like, you want this stuff to happen. You want the market to speak, and you want the fat to be cut. I think anybody who's left standing after this inflation period and this post-COVID era, anybody who's left standing is just going to be a good, reputable brand, and you're going to know who to go to. I think a lot of the problem is you had kids, literally kids, very, very young, who started a quote-unquote business during COVID, made a lot of money they probably never seen before in their life, thought it was going to stay like that for a long period of time. It didn't. It fell off. They didn't allocate properly. They made their first business mistakes, and they went under. And that's not a bad thing. If people don't have business acumen, then they shouldn't be running a business, at least not yet. Let them learn. And if that means companies go out of business, then so be it. It just means that that's one less issue that a consumer has to deal with.
Yeah, it was pretty sad to see P3D go. I think that was also one of like the more recent people I'll talk to that closed doors.
Yeah, speaking of some of the niche, just to kind of address some of the niche companies that go out of business, I kind of don't understand that, because if like you're super niche and you're not doing I talk to so many artisans that are doing it as a side gig. They have their main job and they're making their artisan keycaps on the side, and they're running their their little business, and they're making extra money. I don't understand why these super niche sites can't at least use it as like a side gig, right? Like, why they have to completely go under. We kind of saw that with Zap cables, right? Zap went out of business, and now they're back. They've always been kind of like a supply website, or a supply, like a wholesale type of website, but that's kind of the move, right? Like, you don't have to go out of business. Use it as a side job. I'm kind of curious as to why some of these super niche companies decide to just completely give it up,
Well, they might be busy with like external factors, right? So you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Like, could just like get overwhelmed with personal life, and just may not be that advantageous to continue. But also, I do know a lot of vendors that just do it as a side gig, and they don't rely on it. And as long as things continue like that, then they should have no issue continuing, right? But thank you, Voxel, for the follow.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying, right, bro? Like he didn't go out of business. He
you see,
took a little,
you
took
see
a
what
little break.
bro wrote down.
Yeah, that's what I'm addressing.
Okay, sorry.
That's what I'm addressing. No, it's all right. No, just saying that. Yeah, you're right. That's exactly what I'm actually saying. I'm agreeing because Zap essentially took a break. He didn't go out of business. He just like say, hey, we're taking a break. I can't operate this at the moment. Not shutting anything down. He was still accepting emails for the time being, trying to fulfill what was left over. And now he came back with no bad blood. Nobody has any issues. Nobody has anything bad to say about them because they ran off with money or disappeared like Summit Cables or some of these other companies that did that, right? So that's the right thing to do. If you're super niche, hey, I may be back, I may not be back. I'm gonna fulfill the rest of these orders. We'll see how it goes. Maybe if I have time to do this in the future, I'll reopen. I just don't know why we don't see that more. Like with Doge Mods, essentially, who just one day completely disappeared. That's it. I'm done. No, I'm gone.
Well, I think he did fulfill his obligations prior to closing doors.
Yeah. Like I'm not saying he didn't fulfill obligations, but like there was no like messaging like you saw with Zap or with some of these other companies that kind of came back, like where they would, hey, just taking a break, like leaving the website up and stuff like that. Like Zap Cables, the website never came down or anything like that. Doge Mods, the website went down. Everything just kind of, it's just like, hey, I'm done, right? So.
Yeah.
What's up, Voxel?
Yeah, good to see you in here. Voxel does make some great work. Thoughts on CF mices, and I have a pin thing on it. Okay, thoughts on CF mices, and there's a couple apart from Final Mouse working on some. To be honest, I am not too big into the mice. Like I have my Viper, and I'm happy, but I don't really have. I have had a couple keyboards or mice where I've changed out the switches for something a little bit more clicky and tactile, but other than that, I'm not really too versed in. Are you? By any chance? I'm not too good with mice.
Me, I just used the Logitech. What is this? G502X.
My battery exhausted. Bad.
What on the face cam?
Yeah.
Maybe that's a sign to.
Yeah, but I'm almost done with this keyboard.
Oh, you want to wait till you finish? Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So I have a dummy battery that I use for chat, and I plugged it in today and it just wasn't powering the keyboard, or powering the camera, so I had to charge the camera prior, and I thought we'd make it all the way through, but I guess the camera has about an hour and 30-minute battery life.
Buy one on Amazon, dude.
Dude, I need to.
Just get
but
a
it
new
happened
one.
Today, bro.
It's so lazy, bro.
It happened today. What do you mean lazy? So I've been setting up the stream all day. Saw Doge website disappeared and then never posted. Yeah. He kind of just he ended pretty
abruptly.
Yeah. But I also do know that I think he was doing Doge full time and then it just wasn't feasible. So.
But that's kind of what I mean. Like, why not, at least, give a farewell. Like, hey, guys, maybe back, maybe not. Most likely not.
I'm with you.
Taking on a new adventure. Yeah, really no excuse not to kind of, drive off into the sunset and be cool about it.
I didn't know Dogemon's imploded.
Dogemon's imploded from the inside. Yeah. That is interesting. Yeah, I don't know much about that. All I know is I gobbled up his stock, and I'm
107. Dude, Voxel and his wife sleeved 170 feet today. Yeah, no, thank you.
Damn, that's a lot.
That's one way to spend your Sunday.
God bless. Keep it going. Keep making cables, baby. Certainly more than I've done.
Dude, there's so much kidding here. I don't know what to I'm struggling to get through all these. Putting the keycaps on this board. I'm struggling. Appreciate you being here, Patches, and thank you to everyone who's staying tuned into the stream. It means absolute world to us. We just love chatting it up and getting to know everyone on a more personal level. I think this is. We were talking about it last week. This was we had such a blast last week, and the turnout this week has been even better than it was last week. So
Yeah. Just to echo that, thank you everybody for like coming on and hanging out. And honestly, it does mean a lot because we have fun doing this, and we kind of started on a whim, right? We're like, hey, we don't really see any keyboard podcasts. Why not start one? And we just literally started it last week. It was a complete shit show. We had no idea how to set up anything, but we just threw the camera on, and a bunch of people joined, and it was a ton of fun. So we really like doing it and plan on doing it even more. On that note, please do me a favor and follow me too for some off-hour streams in case we decide to do some stuff that's not related to the podcast.
yeah, and to go off what Patrick was saying, like if anyone ever has any questions about business or how how things are going with with us, or you guys are always more than welcome to ask in the chat, and we'll be sure to get to you guys.
Yeah, and
this is kind of like
doesn't.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No.
I was just saying we're this whole thing is also for transparency, right? We want to know you guys, and we want you guys to know us and stuff like that. So
yeah, especially as we move into more proprietary releases, some of you guys know, like we're releasing the Protagonist keyboard. We have like Artisan tray planned. We have screw tray planned. We have a bunch of products that are going to be really fun planned, and the communication doesn't start and end with the stream, right? Like if you have any questions, you want to just talk about keyboards, jump in Discord, DM either one of us. Like we're always down to talk. We're always shooting the shit all day, breaking each other's chops. Like just come hang out. Like I feel like our Discords, like I want to get them more engaged. I want to talk more. Like get in there, like share some pictures, share some thoughts. Like it doesn't have to be limited to Sunday,
for sure. And also one more thing is we will have a little Ask Me Anything in the Discord. This in the Loop Switches Discord this Wednesday at I think it was 8 p.m. Central Time. The event is in there. So basically, if anyone ever has any questions about keyboards or anything, it's basically just like an extension of the stream almost. But you could literally ask us anything. Doesn't even have to be keyboard related. But Coffee and Keeps, yeah, you can always be sure to PM me on Instagram or Discord. I'll probably get to you a little faster on Discord, to be honest, because I just hate typing on my phone. So
yeah, I'll be in the AMA, but mostly you can ask me questions, but obviously it's Lube's Discord, so I'll be in there mostly to kind of help moderate, but you can ask me some questions too.
Well, I mean, you'll be just as much a part of it as I will. So, but we can't do two Discords in a row, or like two Discords at the same time, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but I would imagine most of the questions will be for you, so I'll be more than happy to kind of help you, like just read them off, and this way nobody gets like buried or anything,
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna try to be in there, and yeah, it was also Cobert's idea with the Met Group buys, I believe, because Met Group buys also did it in the past, so kind of like bringing that back a little bit as well. So Cobert's always been a massive help with just about anything. He's always there to give me some advice, tell me something looks ugly, or tell me something looks good.
Oh, is he the one that you were telling me you go to when you want to know what if we get the A-OK or not?
Yeah. Like Cobert's been.
That's that guy. Okay.
Yeah, Cobert's been in the scene for a long time. If I'm not mistaken, it's like 2009 or something like that.
So you're like me, Cobra, but you probably just know way more than me. But that's basically when I was yeah. I remember back in 2010 trying to make. I remember when Clacks were the only artisan that existed. They're the ones who started the shit.
Yeah, so Cobert's been through.
I actually got
just
one
about anything.
I got one right here. You can see it. That's an OG right there.
And we did just finish the keyboard too, so I'll show it off before we kind of head out of here. The lighting's a little bad because I only have the
that hits, bro. See?
One direction. It does look good.
I'll probably a little thing or two.
you have all right taste. We'll put it that way. I think it does look good though. This is gonna get the Cerakote job though. You best believe.
Yeah, that looks correct. I like.
Thank you so much for Strawberry Milk, if she's still in here, for sending this over. This is my first Mode 65, and actually, like, I heard people said like it was just an alright board, but it sounds great to me with the FR4 plate. Yeah, there she is. Thank you so much for keeping the stream.
What switches did you do?
We put
What
in the
switches
the was it? I can't think of it. Swag Keys Mocha switches, Mocha ST switches. So the
Let me hear
original.
it. Let me hear it. Clack it.
Well, you're not gonna hear it in the Discord, but
Yeah, if you bring it close enough to the mic, I should. No, never mind. Okay. No, I don't hear shit.
yeah.
No, I can't hear anything. Why does it do that? We gotta turn that. We gotta figure a way to turn that off.
No, it's just Discord noise suppression. It's pretty easy to turn off.
Yeah. Oh, do I have to do it on my end?
No, we both have to do it.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the follow, keebs.
I don't know where the music went, but I think we're gonna wrap things up here.
Yes.
You wanna put in some final words before I do?
No, I think we covered it pretty good. Just if you guys could do me a favor, I'm gonna post the link again because I'm a shill for myself. So if you guys haven't already, if you don't mind just jumping over there, throwing me a follow, I'd appreciate it. A bunch of follows coming through. Cobra, thank you guys. Thank you very, very much for joining us, and I can't wait till next week, or hopefully if we get a chance to do it even sooner, we may add an episode or something if there's enough.
Yeah,
I
would love to.
Right?
Oh, Cam, all I was saying is I think I deleted the music tab, so now we just don't have music. And then before that, we were just saying like, oh, like the stream could probably hear the keyboard, but Wiarden couldn't because it's over Discord. So we just have to turn off Discord noise suppression. That shouldn't be an issue though for next stream.
Yeah,
Y'all have a good
learning as we go.
Yep. Y'all have a good rest of your evening though. Appreciate everyone who took the time out to join us on this wonderful stream.
Good night, guys.
Yep.
Have a good Monday.